Convene to open session. The board would like to remind the public that this meeting is being audio and video recorded. It is also available via live stream for the public through links found on the front page of the RUSD website. Tonight we have Braden Haney from Rocklin High School. Welcome, Braden, as our student board representative. Braden, would you please introduce the color guard and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Rocklin Unified School District's Junior ROTC Color Guard and the Pledge of Allegiance. The commander and U.S. flag bearer for this evening's color guard is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Sophia Burkhalter. The state flag is carried by Cadet Major McKenna McVicker. The right guard is Cadet Master Sergeant Orion Terhune. The left guard is Cadet Airman Basic Bogdan Klimanov. The alternate for tonight is Cadet Master Sergeant Madison Card. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you so much to our Whitney High School Junior ROTC program. We appreciate the way you conduct yourself and introduce our meetings. Thank you. Now moving to our special recognition and presentations portion of the meeting, item 5.1. Chief Dosage, will you please introduce our family partners in education recognition tonight?
Good evening, Vice President Price, trustees, and Superintendent Stock. The Family Partners in Education program allows the Rocklin Unified School District to recognize family engagement and involvement to help our students achieve excellence during the school year. Tonight, Breen Elementary School Principal Jennifer Palmer is introducing the Novi family for tonight's Family Partners in Education recognition.
All right. Good evening, Vice President Rochelle Price, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Stock, and members of the Cabinet. Tonight I have the pleasure of recognizing a wonderful Breen family, the Novi family. Their dedication and service are exceptional, and their impact is felt by students, parents, and staff alike. First, I want to acknowledge Amber, who serves as our PTC president. Her tireless energy, and I mean tireless, and leadership are behind so many of the events and initiatives that make our school a vibrant place for students and families. Whether she's organizing events, finding creative ways to support our teachers, or fostering a strong sense of community, she does it all with a warm and welcoming spirit that inspires everyone around her. She's made our PTC a place of collaboration and positivity, and we're incredibly fortunate to have her. Then we have Genevieve, a wonderful example of student leadership at our school. As a member of our student leadership team, she's dependable, kind, and a role model to her peers. Genevieve shows us that leadership isn't just about titles, but taking action, empathy, and desire to make a difference. She has a heart of service and is already creating a lasting impact in her own way, following closely in her parents' footsteps. Now we have Rockwell, who leads by example. He is a friend to all and was a model of kindness both inside and outside of the classroom while at Breen. And finally, I have to highlight Don, who went above and beyond at our recent fall carnival, manning the grill and bringing people together over great food. His willingness to jump in and contribute, making sure everyone enjoyed a delicious meal, embodies the giving spirit of the Novi family. Together, the Novi family has shown what it means to be invested, involved, and fully committed to supporting our school. I am so grateful for all they've done and continue to do, and we're so lucky to have them in our community. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to honor them tonight.
Thank you so much. You guys can stand up. Yeah, we'll go. Thank you, Principal Palmer, for calling attention to this family and what you all are doing for your Breen community. We appreciate it so much here in Rocklin Unified, having that strong community of parents who are willing to spend the time. I know so much of the PTC president role is organizing those things, getting people excited about it, and making them understand that it's valuable, that it'll be fun. So thank you for all of the time that you spend on that. And thank you, kids, too. It's important what you're doing, too, to be leaders in your own right. And Dawn, thank you as well.
Thank you so much, Noxie family. Chief Dosage, will you please introduce our employee recognition tonight?
Vice President Price, trustees, and Superintendent Stock. Tonight for our employee recognition, Whitney High School Principal Scott Collins will join us in introducing Aaron Guerin.
Board of Trustees, I am delighted to recommend Aaron Guerin, a paraprofessional in ILS STP Severe Program at Whitney High School, for formal recognition by the Rocklin Unified School District. Aaron's work is exemplary, and her contributions have a profoundly positive impact on students and staff alike. Her dedication to her role is evident in every interaction she has, especially in how she strives to make each student's day brighter and more fulfilling. Aaron goes above and beyond to ensure that every student feels seen, valued, and supported. Her compassion and attentiveness are reflected in the strong relationships she builds with students, fostering a sense of belonging that encourages them to engage and excel. She makes it a priority to understand each student's unique needs, strengths, and challenges, and her unwavering support creates a nurturing environment where they can feel safe and motivated. It is common to see Aaron working one-on-one with students, offering not only academic assistance, but also personal encouragement. She makes a genuine effort to brighten students' days, whether through a kind word, a smile, or a helping hand, and her presence is a source of comfort and joy for them. In addition to her direct work with students, Aaron is a pillar of support and leadership among her colleagues. She is always willing to share insights, strategies, and encouragement, making her an invaluable asset to our team. She is the first one to step into difficult situations with her colleagues as well. Aaron's approachable nature and collaborative spirit foster a positive atmosphere that strengthens our team's overall effectiveness. Her leadership is subtle yet impactful, as she consistently models patience, empathy, and professionalism in all that she does. Aaron can be seen organizing staff and materials at the start of the day to be sure all students are brought where they are needed throughout the day. Staff members often look to Aaron for guidance and perspective, and her dedication inspires those around her to bring their best selves to their work. Recognizing Aaron's contributions would not only honor her hard work and dedication, but also serve as a testament to the positive, supportive culture that she helps cultivate at Whitney High School. Aaron exemplifies the qualities that make our school a nurturing and inspiring place for students and staff alike, and her recognition is well-deserved acknowledgement of her positive impact. Thank you so much, Aaron.
First off that certificate. So thank you. I think just without doing the claws up and all the right parts, but just, I was going to get him, see? Just the connectiveness, connecting the kids, connecting the classes, connecting them to the community, connecting them to the campus, like having that and you having that impact is just one of those great things about Whitney High School, about RUSD, about everything we're trying to do, and we thank you very much for having that, for achieving that, for bringing people together, not only from the staff standpoint, the kids standpoint, and I know you see it in the slight bit, but watching those kids go through the program and watching them graduate, I mean, it's just, it's the great thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you for everything you do. We gotta get a picture. We're gonna get the whole crew.
Thank you so much, Aaron, and we glad to have you here with your loved ones to congratulate you. Don't feel like you need to stay. I know Mr. Collins is pushing you that way, but there is no pressure at all. Have a good night. So thank you again for coming. Next, we'd like to welcome CSEA President Bettina Hart to present the CSEA report.
Good evening, Vice President Price, members of the board, Superintendent Stock, cabinet members. I hope everyone is doing well this evening. The past few board meetings, I have talked about our tech and our custodians, ground and maintenance departments. So tonight I thought that I would share some positive information regarding our nutrition services and our transportation departments. Last week, I reached out to Charles Douglas and Matt Hemp, asking if they could share some positive feedback from the departments, and their response I received was fantastic. Jessica Porter Perkis, Department Secretary of Nutrition Services, reached out to her lead nutrition employees and asked for anything they wanted to share. They sent me their greatest compliments of all: thank you letters from students. These letters prove how important these employees are to the district. So please, if you have a moment, take a look at some of these notes that I shared with Georgia to give to you, and see how every day the impact they have on these students. Not only are they providing meals, they are also providing smiles and a place where students can feel safe and welcomed. One story that was shared with me was from Jessica Newton at Whitney High School, how an ASB student asked to borrow one of the carts, and the lead, Sharon, jokingly told him that it would cost him some chocolate. When he returned the cart, not only did he bring it into the cafeteria nice and clean, he also returned with some chocolate for Shannon. That compassion and appreciation from students is why they love what they do. What I received from Matt Hemp was a letter acknowledging his transportation department, and I thought I would read that to you tonight. I'd like to take a moment to recognize and celebrate our dedicated transportation team. This team is a true example of collaboration and professionalism. While each driver is responsible for individual route and assignments, they work in concert, always ready to step in and assist one another when needed. Their commitment to getting our students to school safely and on time is unwavering, and their teamwork ensures that every challenge is met and shared with a sense of purpose. Each of our drivers demonstrates an exceptional level of dedication every day. They understand that their role goes beyond just operating a bus. It's about ensuring the safety and well-being of our students. The effort they put in forth every day is something that deserves to be recognized. One example of this commitment is a situation a particular student who has been facing difficulty boarding the bus in the mornings. This has required several of our drivers to go above and beyond to ensure the student gets to school. Drivers like Sharon Cree, Terrence Canete, Marina Gable, and Dave Farley have all shown incredible flexibility, whether that meant waiting for the student to board, covering other routes to allow extra time, or picking up the student after completing their own morning runs. It's worth nothing that this level of dedication isn't limited to any one group of drivers. We have a mix of longtime drivers like Dave Farley, who has had 16 years with Rocklin, Sharon Cree, 12 years, and the newer members like Terrence and Marina, all demonstrating the willingness to go above and beyond to help the team and fulfill the mission. This shows that no matter how long they've been with us, each member of our team is committed to supporting one another and doing whatever it takes to get the job done. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize Bill Scar, a longtime driver who is retiring this year after 11 years of service. Bill has touched the lives of countless students, many of whom will stop him in the community just to say hello to one of their favorite drivers. His positive impact on the children he served is immeasurable, and he leaves behind a legacy of care and commitment. Other members of our team who are equally deserving of recognition is Anna Gelaev, playing a crucial role as our Russian translator, assisting parents with bus pass applications and ensuring the language is never a barrier access. Mary Bratz is the heart of the team's morale, organizing potlucks, decorating the break room for holidays, and making sure that every team member feels appreciated on their birthdays. Gary Hoping, a retired deputy, engages with the kids on his routes and makes the bus ride an enjoyable and safe part of their day. Roy Van Kampen is an 8-year veteran, serves as our shop steward, and works tirelessly to represent the voice of our drivers, and their concerns are heard and addressed. This is just a snapshot of many dedicated professionals who make up our transportation department. They bring positivity, reliability, and a deep sense of care to everything they do. Together, they form a dynamic, diverse, and committed team, working tirelessly to serve the students and the parents of Rocklin Unified. I appreciate Matt sending me this because a lot of times I feel that our transportation and nutrition servicers are behind the scenes. So this to me was an amazing thing to get for him, and hopefully they realize how important their role is for our district and for our students. So on a different story, for the first time that I can remember, our chapter will be sending at least 2 special education aides to the CSEA Para-Educator Conference in March down in Ontario. I'm excited to see what they will learn and bring back to share with other aides to the district. One of those aides here tonight is Leanne Dickinson. She is a one-on-one aide at Rucola. She is one of our site representatives, and she just recently, along with Nancy Howell, Liz Salazar, and myself, we are certified stewards, which we will be jacketed in the spring. So I'm glad that she is here tonight and being able to go to that conference and bring back things for the other aides. My negotiations team and myself are looking forward to collaborating with HR in the weeks ahead. We are lucky that we have established a positive relationship with HR so that we can work together and give support to our members as needed. I know that this year is very hard, but I appreciate HR taking the time to listen and to collaborate with us. And lastly, I know that I said I wouldn't talk about grounds or maintenance or custodian, but while students and staff have next week off, our department will be very busy working, cleaning the classrooms, making the sites look amazing for that when everyone returns on December 2nd. The schools will be open and ready to go. So I thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening and a wonderful Thanksgiving. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bettina, I appreciate your positive outlook and always looking for ways to give public recognition to so many employees that do so much, so thank you. Yeah. And now we'll go to item 7.1, comments and report from Student Board Representative. Welcome, Braden Haney from Rocklin High School. Will you please share your report?
Absolutely. Starting off with Antelope Creek. Antelope Creek fifth graders raised close to $500 for hurricane relief in the Red Cross last month. Students designed and sold bookmarks to raise money for the effort. The annual Fall Carnival was also held last month and was fun for all. Antelope Creek staff will be working on designing integrated arts units in December, which will focus on delivering, teaching, and learning across multiple subject areas using the California state standards at their base. Visual and performing arts will be used throughout the units to teach lessons, assess student progress, and increase overall student engagement. Go Falcons! Next is Parker Whitney. Their annual Harvest Festival, organized by their incredible parent-teacher club, was a smashing success. The event had a fantastic turnout filled with smiles, fun, and a wonderful sense of community. The PTC has also been busy planning and hosting events like the Dinner Nights Out, which continue to bring families together and support their school. As they wrap up the first trimester, their focus has turned to reviewing student data to set clear goals for the second cycle of our Panther Parade. This data-driven approach allows us to celebrate growth and pinpoint key areas for further focus and support. Looking ahead, they are excited for the holiday movie night after Thanksgiving break, another event designed to bring families together and celebrate the season. Next is Breen Elementary. Breen 6th graders are collecting socks and undies for the Mustard Seed School, a school for homeless children in the Sacramento area. Breen is doing excellent. Next is Whitney High School. Whitney High School recently wrapped up the Breaking Down the Walls program, a powerful initiative that brought students and staff together for full-day sessions focused on building empathy, understanding, and connection. The program was a tremendous success, leaving a lasting positive impact on the school community. As the fall sports seasons come to a close, excitement is building up for the start of winter sports. Teams are gearing up, and anticipation is high for a new season of competition and school spirit. Next is Rock Creek. Rock Creek was thrilled to welcome cross country back to their campus and finish off a great season. Their PTC had a great turnout at its annual trunk or treat and is eagerly planning its next family event. Red Hawks have been busy this past month celebrating Red Ribbon Week, running a canned food drive, kicking off a student leadership club, celebrating our veterans at a very special Veterans Day celebration, and their 4th graders are engaging in a service project to collect hygiene kits for their local unhoused population, while their 6th graders are looking forward to their upcoming trip to Sly Park the second week of December. Next is Sierra Elementary. At Sierra Elementary, Sharks recently enjoyed an amazing fall carnival, a community event organized by the amazing Sierra PTC. Sharks have recently completed assessments to show their growth and hard work during the first trimester to help our staff plan for new learning and growth goals in the second trimester. The PTC has also generously sponsored their 3rd year of partnership with the International Dance Arts Collective, who has worked with their teachers and IB coordinator to help to develop meaningful art-based lessons that lead to a cultural dance tied to an IB unit in each grade level. The end result is a spectacular dance show with cultural and academic relevance for Sierra students. The show will be in the spring and everyone is invited. Next is Cobblestone. It has been very busy at Cobblestone over the last few weeks. Students in each class were recognized for excellence in demonstrating the character trait of responsibility at a special assembly. Next month, students will be recognized for demonstrating gratitude. Students enjoyed an assembly of African and Afro-Caribbean dance and drumming performed by the Phoenix Drum and Dance Company. Later in the week, students participated in a pizza lunch with their teachers as well as turned the principal and 2 teachers into human ice cream sundaes for their hard-working gathering Jogathon pledges. PTC hosted a successful restaurant night at Mendocino Farms and sponsored a superhero evening and have planned a coffee, donut, meet, and greet later this week to continue their work in building a strong school community. 6th graders are off to science camp at Sly Park this week. 2nd and 3rd graders enjoyed using boom whackers with Miss Brabe during their dance and rhythm class. And lastly, 2nd grader Erica Makhtarova and 6th grader Emma Siegel won the school yearbook contest. Next is Corey Trail. What a month it's been at Corey Trail School. Students have been busy exploring and learning and creating memories that will last a lifetime. From fascinating field trips to captivating performances, here's a look at all the incredible activities students have participated in over the last month. The 1st graders went to the Sac State Planetarium field trip with a captivating show that took them on a journey through the cosmos. Students learned about constellations, planets, and the mysteries of the universe. The 5th graders went to the SMUD Museum of Science and Curiosity, where students dove deep into the world of science and technology. The 2nd graders had the chance to experience the magic of live theater and with a trip to see Beauty and the Beast. The costumes, music, and story came together to create a magical experience for everyone in attendance. Finally, the 6th graders ventured to Sly Park Environmental Education Center for an unforgettable week at science camp. These experiences have not only enriched their students' education, but also helped foster a sense of curiosity, teamwork, and creativity. They are incredibly proud of all of their students for their enthusiasm, engagement, and willingness to explore new frontiers of learning. Next is Valley View. Yes, Valley View has been very busy last week, and this week showing off our acts of kindness during our Raise Craze fundraiser. Students ask extended family and friends for donations as they pledge AOKs. This is their 3rd year, and they have been very successful. Sponsored by their PTC, they have been able to get 2 new water stations for drinking and filling bottles and a new playground game called 9 Square. It has quickly become a big hit. We are grateful for blended fundraiser and character development. Valley View Club Cubs rock. Next is Rocklin Elementary. Rocklin Elementary is excited to host their annual STEM night this Thursday, November 14th. Families will have opportunity to engage in various STEM activities, including Science Nations, exploration with blue bots and oxobots, and our math stations, Gellin and geometry. Next is Twin Oaks. Twin Oaks fifth graders headed to a science camp this week for an outdoor learning adventure, and their fourth graders are heading to Coloma on Friday. TK students will have a fun day tomorrow when the Sacramento Children's Museum Color Lab makes a visit. They're looking forward to a busy week of parent-teacher conferences next week, where teachers can share all of the great learning the Timberwolves are doing. And last but not least, my favorite, Rocklin High School. Rocklin has just ended and wrapped up their first quarter and on to the second quarter. We are now locking down for more rigorous classwork to then finish out the school semester. Honor Society was also active with celebrating the students who have achieved a 3.0 from last year's semester. Students were given a candy bar and a pin to put on their graduation outfit to show their academic achievements. Fall sports has officially ended, and we are now headed into playoffs with our football game this Friday in the third round of playoffs against Manteca. Winter sports is now in session with sports like baseball, basketball, soccer, and wrestling. Thunder Galleria is Rocklin's annual Christmas donations to kids in need. We are accepting any gifts so that everyone can experience the true Christmas magic. Rocklin is doing awesome and ready to finish out the semester strong. Go Thunder. And that'll be it. Thank you.
Take a deep breath. That was kind of a lot. Good job. How are the college applications coming?
Done.
Good. Okay, that's what I was hoping. Good job. So many great things happening, and just, it shows how much work goes into all of those things and how grateful we are to have amazing families and staff that helps with all of that. So thank you so much, and bless those kids in the rain at Sly Park and in Coloma on Friday. Oh my goodness, so wet. Okay, now to item 7.2, comments from the board and superintendent. Trustees, do you have any board comments you would like to share tonight?
I feel like either it's been a very busy time of year or we haven't met in a long time, because I'll try not to drone on too long here. But I did have a lot of things that, some of us have all participated in and things I've gone to. So first off, we all were able to come out to the Matt Redding Memorial Baseball game. I got to meet his parents, John and Marilyn, who are lovely. Lots of great turnout from local dignitaries and law enforcement, public service, and just a super fun event to see the teams playing all dressed up in Halloween costumes. Really a nice way to just pay tribute and keep his memory alive. So that was very nice. We also had the first LCAP meeting here at the district office, which is run by Hannah Anderson here. Sarah Soares was also there helping, along with some other district staff, to just get that started, get the new group of parents who volunteered oriented to what LCAP is, how it helps serve students in our district. So it was really nice to see some returning faces who could kind of contribute to the groups and give their knowledge, and then also some new parents who are really excited to take part in that. I was able to take my youngest, who loves the theater, Marin, to see a play at Whitney High School. It was called The Play That Goes Wrong, and we didn't really know what to expect, but it was super fun, interactive. The students came and gave some of the kids a job. Marin was like a deer in the headlights, but it all came together. It was super funny, challenging acting, using props and like physical comedy. I was very impressed by that. We also, just, on a kind of district trustee level, we had a couple of events at the new Placer County Office of Education offices here on West Stanford Ranch. So they had a ribbon cutting, but then they also did hold a training for trustees on governance. They have put together these modules to help to educate trustees on different areas of governance and leadership to make sure that we have all of the information and tools that we need to do a good job. So that was, I think, a valuable way to spend an evening. I also wanted to mention the study session that we had here last week on just an update on ELA progress in the district and how that's going. It was, I don't know how you guys felt, but very just informative, enjoyable to hear these teachers explain how they are teaching ELA in the district, the tools that they're using, how the students are responding to it. It just was very positive. And then when I went into my parent-teacher conference this afternoon and they brought up Hegarty, I'm like, got it, I know, it's good. So I feel like I, learned a lot, trustee level, parent level. And then on the just parent involvement piece, there were a couple of things that came up that just made me feel really thankful for parents in our district. So at Quarry Trail, there are a couple parents that helped teach the students about Diwali, the festival, and Marin came home super excited and like literally insisted that we find a Diwali celebration to go to. And so the one at the ranch house apparently sells out like instantly. So we went out to Westbrook Elementary in West Roseville to their celebration. It was very nice, great evening. And just, I didn't learn about Diwali when I was a kid, so I didn't really know a lot. She's taught me about that. And then I was at a soccer game last weekend, and one of the parents is the PTC president at Cobblestone, and I didn't realize that a lot of the other parents on the team are also Cobblestone parents. And they got into this, like, they were hyping each other. They're like, Cobblestone's the best. Don't we have the best school? Yeah, like, we're just so involved. We have all the best stuff. We have the best kids, the best parents. And I kind of felt left out, but I also felt like just such a cool thing to kind of overhear and just be able to, feel excited about what's going on at our schools. So I'll wrap up with just saying thank you to all the elementary school teachers this week who are working really hard to get us all up to speed on how our kids are doing. Just the care and the empathy that they have for our kids really shines through in those meetings, and I value it a lot, so thank you.
No, you dialed. You only took one off the list. That's good. So, no, again, thank you for all the great stuff, all those things. Maybe take a few breaths when you're going through. It's not for speed, but you got this down. So for the Whitney, we'll tell them you're faster, so we're good. So yeah, Matt Redding baseball event, that was a lot of fun. There was and I want to say thank you to RPD for being out there, but there was a One Pill Can Kill event at Whitney High School, so thank you guys for the support and the things you do. That's just a great community. Sad event, sad thing that we have to do it, but great that the community comes together for that, so thank you for that. Thank you to, and it was just recent, but thank you to all that served in Veterans Day over there. I will say looking forward to Thanksgiving and having that with all the families. I will say congratulations to Ms. Price and Ms. Hupp for your recent election wins. And then the study session that we had, it was just really neat to see all the achievement, the continuous improvement, how we're looking at metrics, taking that data, making improvements. And it's funny, as one of the teachers would say, with all the new programs, you swing so far to one side or the other, and it was really nice to hear that there's some core things that you can do, we can make improvements on that, and just hearing about some of the ideas and things they're doing with ELA at the younger age, I'm looking forward to seeing that progress through and that. So thank you to the teachers that are working on that. And then just looking forward to winter sports and the events at all our schools, so thank you.
Most things were already said, so I won't repeat them just to hear my own voice, but I did want to say thank you to Bettina, who always has such a positive report, and I love hearing about all the different departments of CSEA, so I really appreciate you bringing that information to us. There were some great events in the last month. I will just acknowledge that between Halloween and the first of the year, it's kind of jokingly called the Triangle of Misery in elementary schools. But it really is joyful as well as being a ton of work for teachers. So I just want to shout out that we know you're working super, super hard to make all the holidays fun and still teach and get ready for report cards and all the great things that you're doing. So we appreciate you very much.
Great. Superintendent Stock, do you have any comments to share?
I do. First, again, just to reinforce what Trustee Counter said around Veterans Day, in our district, we have 21 veterans in our ranks of employees with 179 years of combined service to our nation. And we also, even in the form of our own police chief, who's a veteran as well, so really our community really does appreciate our veterans, and we're grateful for all they do for us. We also want to acknowledge our maintenance grounds custodial crews that while it's raining and people are inside and warm, they are not. And they are outside making sure our campuses are safe and able to open and operate for our kids, and we appreciate what they do in all weather. Also, we'll share that our California dashboard is going to be released publicly tomorrow. So I'm not going to quote specific numbers, but I'm going to let you know a little bit of good news about that. And we have a full communication analysis that'll come to the board later, and it'll be part of a future presentation. But as we looked in at our dashboard, I'm happy to report that a couple kind of end-of-system indicators have really improved. Our graduation rate for the district is at the highest level it can be. And for all of our student groups, and this to me is a very significant goal of the board, is to make sure all groups of students, whether students with disabilities, English learners, or students of different ethnicities, all are either in the very high or high for graduation rate. So we've really made significant work in closing achievement gaps for our students here. And then our college and career readiness indicator, again, one of those end-of-system pieces, has increased, and we're very high overall as a district in that area. So very proud of the hard work, and that is a TK-12 effort. But I won't say more because technically it's embargoed till tomorrow, but just wanted to take an opportunity to share that we continue to see the efforts year in, year out, day in, day out of our employees, our families, and the board's leadership to make impacts for kids. And with that, just again, wish all of our students, our families, and employees a very wonderful and safe Thanksgiving coming up ahead.
Great, thank you. Moving now to 8.1, the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are to be considered routine and will be enacted by one motion followed by a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the Board of Trustees or staff request specific items to remove from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. Any items removed will be voted upon following the motion to approve the consent calendar. Does any trustee wish to remove an item from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action?
I'd like to pull 8.4 for discussion.
Okay, let's see here. And I would like to pull 8.9. So do we need to have a separate item on each of those? Okay. So let's see here.
President, you could, the board could choose to approve the remainder of the consent calendar
Okay.
with those two items set aside for separate discussion and action.
Sure, okay. Is there a motion to approve the rest of the consent calendar, taking out 8.4 and 8.9?
So moved.
Second.
First by trustee Hub, second by trustee Counter. Georgia, will you please call the roll?
Braden Haney,
Yes.
Julie Hupp,
Yes.
Rochelle Price,
Yes?
Derek Counter,
Yes.
Michelle Sutherland.
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, so trustee Sutherland requested to remove consent item 8.4 for separate discussion and action. Sarah, go ahead. You want a minute?
Yes, just a little separate discussion, and then we can just move forward with it. In talking about just the schedule for our organizational meeting, I just wanted to bring up a couple just pieces of food for thought for consideration before we have that meeting, since we won't be seeing each other, meeting again until then. So I wanted to bring up the idea of the labor management position and seeing if that was something that maybe we could transition to a board appointment like the other roles that we have, like the 2x2 committee, the student board member, two-person membership as well. Just thinking about just other opportunities to have new experiences as a trustee and learn more about things that are going on in the district and with labor management. Wanted to throw that out there as something to think about. I also just had wanted to just talk to you guys as colleagues just for consideration for myself for a board position going into this third year of mine. It seems like it's customary to rotate roles on the board so that trustees can serve in different positions on the board, can serve as president during their term, things of that nature, similar to city council. So I would just like to throw it out there for you guys to consider me for a board position when we meet for the organizational meeting. And for those of you who think that this sounds like a strange thing to bring up in this situation, it's just because, you know, we operate under the Brown Act, which, you know, many of you may know that we can't talk about certain board issues as a majority outside of the public's view. So that's why I brought it up now, because we can't talk about it otherwise. So just indicating that I have an interest in that. That's all.
Thank you. Roger, should we approve that now going forward, just that one, or do 8.9 as well?
This item could be approved because this item, the action on it is to set the date of the organizational
Okay.
meeting. The wondering or question I would have, and this could come up now or under pending agenda, is there was a request made to add this, and this would be a separate item to the December 18th agenda for action on the labor management piece. So if that item were to be added to the agenda, our bylaws state that it takes 2 trustees to add that item. So
Currently,
that
the labor management role is not part of our rotating committee.
Yeah. Right, so I was proposing that we
Want it to be on
discuss it
pending
as
agenda?
the board could give direction now, or it could be taken up under pending agenda later in the meeting.
Do you have an opinion either way?
Well, I don't think we can discuss it, right? Because it's not on the agenda. So in order to discuss it, it has to be on the agenda.
So if I motion to add that to
The pending
the
agenda?
yes,
Okay,
or
so let's
add it
approve this
to
item.
the organizational agenda, correct?
This item could be approved under 11.1 pending agenda items. It could be brought up for the December 18th organizational meeting that it be added.
Okay,
then.
Not to say that we're necessarily doing it, but
Yeah.
that we would have it as an item to discuss.
sure. Right?
So we can bring that up at 11.1. If there's
Okay.
a second, then that we can move forward to be added to the December 18th agenda.
Okay, so I'm going to call for a motion to approve consent item 8.4.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Sutherland, second by trustee Hupp. Georgia, will you please call the roll?
Braden Haney,
Yes.
Julie Hupp,
Yes.
Rochelle Price,
Yes.
Derek Counter.
Yes.
Michelle Sutherland.
Yes.
Great, so I just wanted to share some additional information about item 8.9. I just wanted actually to have Superintendent Stock share some information regarding the buses with the community, please.
Yeah. So trustees, the rationale for adding this item to the agenda for consideration of board action is severalfold. The state has put in a legislation that does not allow school districts to buy zero-emission buses after January 1st, 2035. In order to encourage districts to make that transfer to zero-emission buses, there's been considerable grant funding the state has provided to local air agencies, air resource agencies, and the district and under our Director of Transportation and Deputy Superintendent have applied for these grants. And in the grants, for example, in this piece, would allow us to have 3 buses that cost $1.3 million, and our portion would be $369,000. So it's leveraging $1 million. So whether there can be a lot of opinions about electric buses, green energy, but from a fiscal standpoint, this just makes a lot of sense because we normally would have a fleet replacement program of around 1 bus every other year. We have about 30 buses in operation. So this allows us to continue that fleet replacement, but at a much reduced cost to the district. And in this item allows us to apply for the grant. It isn't a final approval. And the district so far has already participated in this program and has received 6 buses through this program and has saved the district nearly $3 million. So it makes a lot of fiscal sense for us to participate in this program. And that's why the staff's done the hard work. Because the board's always asked us how do we leverage our funds to make our taxpayer dollars go further? And so that's why this item's before the board this evening.
Great, thank you so much for the additional information. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda item 8.9?
So moved.
First by Trustee Hupp,
Second.
second by Derek. Georgia, will you please call the roll?
Braden Haney,
Yes.
Julie Hupp,
Yes.
Rochelle Price.
Yes.
Derek Counter.
Yes.
Michelle Sutherland.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Motion passes. Now we have two items for information tonight. First, we'll have item 9.1. We invite Hannah Anderson, Director, Innovation School Programs, to share a local control and accountability plan update.
Good evening, Vice President Price, Trustees, Superintendent Stock. I'm excited to be here tonight along with our Coordinator of ELD, GATE, and Special Programs, Sarah Soares, to share with you a local control and accountability plan update and a focus on our English learner program. During tonight's presentation, we'll share an update on our unduplicated student percentage, highlight our English learner program, review updated services for our homeless and foster youth students, and provide next steps. Our unduplicated pupil percentage in the district has grown by about 6.5% since 2019, with an increase of 756 students into this student group. The students who make up this student group are our socioeconomically disadvantaged students, so that's our low-income students in the district, which includes our students living in homelessness, our foster youth students, and our English learners. Students are counted one time in this student group, even if they are in multiple or qualify in multiple categories. For example, if you're socioeconomically disadvantaged and an English learner student, you're only counted one time in this unduplicated pupil count, which makes up this percentage. So you can see between 2019 through 2022, we were staying at a very traditional percentage in our district, hovering around that between 19 and 21% is where we've been historically. And that count has increased over the last 2 years, now cresting 25%. And so we have if we think about that in terms of students in our classrooms, that's 1 in 4 students, just over 1 in 4 students who are part of this student group. So who make up this unduplicated student percentage. And this is part of our local control and accountability plan because it's what provides our district those additional supplemental funds to support these students. And so all of the programs I have the opportunity to come and share with you throughout the year are principally to support this unduplicated student count.
Is the distribution of those students, is it an even spread between elementary, middle, high? Is it favoring one or the other? Any insight
It
on
is
that?
actually roughly even across the district.
Good question.
Within our unduplicated pupils, we have our English learner program, and our English learner program has numerous goals and actions set that are part of our local control and accountability plan. And then that program has its own goals and actions as well. And so one of the main goals of our English learner program is that every English learner will gain a minimum of 1 level on the state assessment they take each spring. And Sarah will talk to you more about that in a few minutes. And so these actions are just the highlighted actions within this goal intended to support that goal of that 1 level per student per year. And so the actions include using assessment data to guide instructional decisions, reevaluating the English learner staffing based on the needs of students each year, developing a newcomer curriculum for our students who are newest into our English learner program, and implementing research-based curriculum and supplemental materials to support students. At this time, I'm going to bring up Sarah to share with you more information about the demographics in the program.
Good evening. I'm going to quickly go over an overview of our enrollment, historical enrollment of our English learners. Since 2019, we've had an increase of 34% of our English learners. As you look at the graph, you'll notice that from 2019 to 2024, it's gradually increased each year. I also would like to point out the current enrollment appears to be declined a bit compared to last year. However, over the summer, the California Department of Education has changed the way we are regulating and identifying TK students. So up until this school year, and according to these graphs, TK students are included in our enrollment number for EL students until this year. So I'll explain more about that in a few slides. We have over 41 languages spoken in Rocklin Unified, and as of last year, Russian is our #1 leading student student language for our EL students. Russian is first, Spanish is second, Ukrainian is third, and then Farsi is fourth. And we'll move on. According to the California law, we're required to administer the English Language Proficiency Assessment, also called the LPAC. There's 2 versions, the initial LPAC and the summative LPAC. The initial LPAC is a condensed version of the summative, and really its purpose is to identify whether a student is an English learner or initially fluent in English. It's administered one time to students with a home language, other language other than English on their home language survey when they first register for a California school. So regardless if they were an English learner in another state, they're still required to take the initial LPAC within 30 days of enrollment. And again, this test is a condensed version of the summative. The summative assessment is given annually to any English learner, and it really assesses the student's ability in reading, speaking, listening, and writing. It is given annually to every English learner, but then until they meet reclassification criteria. This assessment not only gives us the progress of individual students, but it also allows us to evaluate our EL program in general. When looking at our data for our initial LPAC, there are 3 performance levels because, again, it's a condensed version of the summative. So the purpose, as a reminder, is to determine whether we are providing EL services and their English learners or determining if they're initially fluent or IFEP. To become an English learner, they will either score in a novice level, which means they're minimally developed and need intensive EL services and supports, or they're intermediate, and that's actually a larger range. They're either somewhat developed or moderately developed and still require EL services, depending on their span in that intermediate level. If they score high enough and they're well developed, they no longer receive EL services because they're considered IFEP or initially fluent, and they do not count in our EL enrollment numbers. You can look at the chart here. Again, this is all the way last 4 years up to 2004 school year. And novice continues to grow, so that's our lowest level on the initial LPAC performance scores. Those are our students that need intense EL services, and they continue to grow each year. Again, these 4 years that are indicated on this chart show TK students and that have been tested as well. Starting this school year, we are no longer testing TK students based on California law. They have eliminated the initial LPAC and the summative LPAC for TK students. The summative assessment, again, is given in the spring because it is an expanded form of the initial LPAC. It has 4 performance levels. Our level 1s are considered minimally developed and similar to the novice level on the initial LPAC. Our level 2 and level 3s are kind of in that intermediate level when we talk about the initial. Level 2 is somewhat developed and they need substantial EL services. Our level 3 students are moderately developed and they still are provided moderate EL services within our program. And our level 4 students are students that are well developed in their English proficiency and they're really candidates for reclassification at that point.
So this is, if you're going back, thank you.
Yep.
To get to level 4, it's an annual, so you do it early. If you go back to the other slide, those same ones that roughly 20-ish, 30-ish%. So I take the test, initially fluent, don't need it.
Yep.
You're dealing with that other 70, 80%, and then they go through those, and then I guess I'm trying to figure out is, does it always take a year? Or if they're really close to being initially fluent, like they're a high intermediate, do they have to go through the whole year, or can you kind of test out at the winter quarter, or is it
Yeah,
you're
so
all
the,
in?
actually, the California state system for LPAC opens up the summative February 1st. So we actually try to stagger our testing. So students that are kind of at the lower end, level 1 or novice, we try to test them later in the year, but we also keep in mind that take CASP testing and AP tests or any other tests that are involved, so we try to work around so we're not over-testing students. But generally speaking, we try to get our secondary students and 6th grade tested closer to February and March so that we are able to reclassify them and not have them take an ELD course the following year if possible. But we also keep in consideration those lower end students that might need more time to pass that test. So, yep. Did that answer your question? Okay. When we look at the CASP assessments and language acquisition comparing our all students in Rocklin Unified, our EL students, and our reclassified students, we can see that our EL students continue to fall behind our all student range, which is pretty typical because they're learning the English language. But what's really exciting is that our reclassified students, the students that have been through our EL program for several years and have gotten the supports and the scaffolds that they need, continue to outperform our all student groups in Rocklin Unified, which really indicates that we have a pretty strong program. Our EL teachers and staff and instructional aides are doing an exceptional job.
Yeah, that is an amazing graph if you look at that on the left, because you're more than just 1% or 2%. I mean, that's some good difference between all and REFP. So that's great job. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
An overview of our programs just in general, we really try to split it between elementary sites and secondary sites because they are a different kind of format in the school setting. Our kindergarten through 1st grade students, because their languages are their classrooms are so rich in language to begin with, they do a lot of their ELD work within their classroom setting with our qualified classroom teachers. All of our teachers in Rocklin Unified are qualified to teach EL. Our grades 2 through 6 students that are really in that intensive, need the intensive support in EL work with our EL staff. So each elementary site has an EL staff member that's able to provide designated ELD at a designated time for our level 1 and 2 students, which is amazing. And then our grades 2 and 6 students that are more at the level 3, and also some that are at the level 4 that are kind of teetering on reclassification, stay within their classroom. And of course, they have EL staff at the site to help with that. The secondary sites, all 7th through 12th grade, EL students are required to be in an ELD course. So they are in a course. Grades 7 and 8, their ELD courses are by grade level, and they are with an EL teacher. Both 7th and 8th grade sites have an EL instructional aides that are bilingual, which is amazing, and they actually push into the core classes to help support the students, not only with their language needs, but their academics and the core curriculum.
What is the ratio of aid to the number of students?
So we have about, both sites have approximately 32 to 35 EL students, and each site has 2 EL teachers. Springview has 2 EL instructional aides, and Granite Oaks has 1.
Thank you.
And we would look at that each year to determine the need based on the proficiency levels as well. And then at the high school levels, we've actually worked really hard at both sites, specifically at Whitney High. Historically, I've been in this position for 10 years. Historically speaking, Whitney High did not have a huge EL population until recently. So we were able to increase our ELD courses at both sites to meet the needs of our EL students. All of our EL students are placed in an EL course with an EL teacher. Our courses at the high school level are based on proficiency level. So our level 1s and our novice students are placed in a different ELD course than our students that are at higher level 3s and 2s, which is awesome. We have 2 different models at both sites. At Rocklin High, we offer core courses with integrated ELD, and our bilingual EL instructional aides push into those courses, along with the teachers that provide those integrated ELD and scaffolds within the classroom. And then at Whitney High, we cluster the EL students as much as possible, and we have offer an extra core, like Learning Center course for them to get their support in their core curriculum. At the elementary level, again, actually at both across the board, our staffing is based on annually. We look at not just the students' enrollment, ELO enrollment, but also their proficiency levels and the needs of the sites. And we determine our staffing based on that. At the elementary level, we have added, which is exciting and it's been very helpful this year, an 80% newcomer support teacher. This teacher specifically works with our students that are at the lowest level, mostly in TK through first grade, but also provides additional supports and resources for teachers who are in need with those students that are new to our country and learning the culture and the language and the curriculum. So that's been a tremendous help. We also have increased our translation services, not just through people, but also through student devices that have translations built in so students have access to their core curriculum. And then we've purchased supplemental software for students to be able to work on their language proficiency at home as well, so to continue that education. Our summer school program is also a big highlight. We've been doing it for years, but the last 2 years we've been able to incorporate a newcomer camp for our students that are at a novice or level 1 level in the elementary setting. At the secondary site, a lot of this is the same with the translation devices and the support that we provide for our newcomers. And our EL teachers, specifically speaking at the high school and middle school area, all of our instructional aides are bilingual. So we've really done an awesome push of that. A lot of our Russian-speaking instructional aides are parents that were dentists and doctors and very highly educated people in their home country. And so we're pretty lucky to snag them. We've also have really tried to up our ante on the curriculum support and the content area support in the classrooms, both at Whitney High and Rocklin High. Professional development-wise, just like anything, we provide professional development to build capacity in our staff. Our big hitters, I would say, in the last 2 years have been really with our counselors. At the high school level, we really put an emphasis on supporting our counselors and getting training on how to analyze international transcripts. And they've done an amazing job of being able to maneuver around that. And also being able to use the AB 2121 graduation requirements as needed when they come up, so that we can make sure that our students are being able to graduate from school and go on to post-college. And then in addition, any of our district-wide trainings, we've really tried to put the EL lens and provide strategies and supports and embed them in any professional development that we do across the district. As far as engagement of family goes, we've heard on several surveys, that was a tongue twister, several surveys, really just the need to continue to engage our EL families. We have numerous committees just within the district level that we make sure that we include our families, our EL families on. You'll hear more about the annual back to school fair from Hannah and who we service with that, but that's been great. Our big hitter really is our being able to provide our family liaisons, especially for a district with not a huge number of EL students, but we do have a Russian and Ukrainian family liaison. We started that last year, and she works with our teachers, and we work with all of our Russian and Ukrainian families. We invite them to a monthly meeting, a virtual meeting, where the family liaison really kind of filters through the questions that would normally go to the school, like, where do I sign my kid up for soccer in Rocklin? Where do I go to the dentist? Things like that, and they field a lot of questions and really support our families so they can feel comfortable within not just our school setting, but their community. This year, we also included a Spanish and Portuguese family liaison, and that's been mimicked off of the Russian-Ukrainian. It's really been making a difference with our families. And then, of course, we offer parent and guardian workshops. Our big one last year really tried to emphasize the direct contact that we have with Sierra College so that we can make sure our students that are with Rocklin Unified have a chance to move on and do great things.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. One additional piece I want to share with you all is just what an amazing job Sarah does collaborating with not only our English learner staff across the district, but also our teachers of English learners, because English learners can be in any classroom across the district. And so she shared a bit about at Whitney High School having an increased population. As that was happening, she was very intentional about setting up meetings with the teachers and administrators and counselors there to think through what type of a program works and is going to be best for the Whitney High School community, for the Whitney High School school culture, and how do we want to establish a larger program on this campus. It's a different model than we chose at Rocklin High School, and that's okay. We have great flexibility in how we deliver services, and so it gives us the opportunity to see which model works effectively, both are, with our English learner students. But I just want to highlight that strong collaboration and that teacher input that takes place because of Sarah's leadership.
Thank you. Can we ask a couple questions here before you move on to foster youth? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just have a couple questions and then I'll see which my colleagues do as well. Tell me a little bit about, let's see, how's our turnout at these family liaison meetings?
So our Russian and Ukrainian ones at the beginning of the year are usually very popular. We could have upwards of 30 people attending. We started doing them in person, but we found that virtual was better for the families with transportation. Our Spanish and Portuguese one I thought would be kind of more attended, and we found that not so much, not as much, but I think I would assume, which is a bad word, but that we do have a lot of support at our sites for Spanish-speaking families already. So.
Great. With everything that you guys shared, do you feel like you have, I mean, it's a huge lift when we look at how our numbers have gone up, and I know compared to the rest of the state, we have a low percentage, right? But do you feel like you have the resources that you need? It sounds like you're doing such an amazing job. Do you feel like your family's needs and the students' needs are being met?
I do. I think that we're doing a great job. Our staff at sites, our counselors, our College and Career Center, people are doing amazing. We have really built our translation, not just our devices, but also our people. We have a lot of people that are just on call to help families. Our funding has been great with being able to kind of increase our resources as well. So yes, I do think we're doing a great job.
Great. And then what was the thinking behind the state changing TK not having to take that test?
Actually, I could say in the years past, the TK students were required to take the summative and the initial under a kindergarten testing format. So they were getting a kindergarten test as a TK student.
Okay.
The state got a lot of feedback saying that it's just inappropriate for students that have never been in school before. And so they took that feedback and they have not produced a TK version yet, but they eliminated us being required to administer it.
So is the kindergarten format still there?
Yes, the kindergarten. So our TK students this year will be tested
Gotcha. So
within the first 30 days.
We don't do anything at the TK level, but they get it. So
yeah.
We lose them every year. Okay.
Great, thank you. So appreciate all of your work.
I do have a question. Have you found, or has your staff found any tension or strangeness in working with the Ukrainian and Russian students together?
It's very far and few between. I would say that once in a while at the elementary we'll have some behaviors, but I don't think it's a big enough concern, and we have enough resources with our school psychologists. And
Behaviors more like trauma-related or actual contention between the two?
More trauma-related,
Okay.
yeah, and more trauma-related, not actually between two different cultures clashing.
Okay.
So we do have a lot of Ukrainian families that most of our Ukrainian families speak Russian. There are about 2 or 3 that have requested, even though they can speak Russian, they would like a Ukrainian translator, and we have those to provide services for.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
Related to services, I also will just appreciate the board's leadership in the annual LCAP process, our advisory groups, staff and families recommend that we heavily invest our supplemental resources, and we have increased that investment with the increased number of students. So as the students have increased in our district, the investment has increased, and that has been supported and approved here in our annual budget. So thank you for that. Highlighted services for our foster youth and students experiencing homelessness. Sarah has led 3 years of a back-to-school fair to support all of our English learner students, our foster youth, and our students experiencing homelessness. This last year, based on a generous partnership and donation from Kaiser, we also were able to expand that to a number of our socioeconomically disadvantaged students from 2 of our elementary Title I schools, and had a bigger event than ever before. So very exciting to offer that service. We have increased our tutoring. These are just highlighted actions. There's a number of actions that take place for these youth, but increased our tutoring services with 3 pilots happening at Rocklin Elementary, Antelope Creek, and Parker Whitney's pilot will be coming up in February. This was of great trustee interest, thinking about what are the different models that we can provide related to tutoring to try to increase access for students. And so we're partnering right now with a company called Varsity Tutoring, where we can do virtual online tutoring and have a Rocklin Unified staff member in the room, but they're tutoring students. The tutoring that's taking place is in a small group through the online portal. So we can tutor 20 students at a time with one Rocklin Unified staff member having to work extra hours after school. And we're doing this in our expanded learning program. So students are already there, and then we're just increasing their services and their academic support during that time. We also have recently held our first of 2 District Foster Youth Advisory Committee meetings for the school year, and received feedback on a new request for assistance or request for services form that will be piloted at 2 schools starting in December. The intention there is we have more unduplicated pupils, high needs students than ever before. And we have a great ability to wrap around these students in Placer County and here at Rocklin Unified. And we want to make sure that all of our office staff, all of our principals, all of our school psychologists and counselors have a uniform way where they can request assistance when they feel like the needs of the students have maxed out what I can, provide at a school site, and so they can contact our office here in Education Services to get additional support or referrals up through PCOE. So that it's very exciting to be able to have gotten feedback from practitioners on how that form may work being rolled out, and then we'll try it at a few schools for a month, see how we can make adjustments using our continuous improvement process, and then roll that out to all of our schools, hopefully in midwinter this year. Next steps, we'll continue implementation of our LCAP actions, including our EL program and monitor for effectiveness. We will update the board on unduplicated student progress during our annual LCAP presentations, including an update on the California School Dashboard, as Superintendent Stock alluded to earlier. We'll implement small trials of our request for assistance form and adjust based on feedback. We will be drafting an English Learner Master Plan and eliciting input during an upcoming District English Learner Advisory Committee, and bringing back that EL Master Plan for board action during the winter-spring 2025. This is a compliance item that really details for the school staff and the English learner families how our English learner program works, and it goes into great detail on everything Sarah shared with you this evening. And with that, I am available to answer any additional questions. Thank you.
Trustees, do you have any additional questions or comments? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Marty Flowers, Associate Superintendent of Secondary Education, to present the RUSD safety update. Welcome, Marty.
Vice President Price, Trustee, Superintendent Stock, thank you for the opportunity to come before you this evening to talk about safety. Joining me this evening is Chief Rustin Banks and Sergeant Jeff Paxton. Chief Banks will join me at the end, but I appreciate them being here this evening. Just a quick overview, we'll talk about our district safety committee we run, some of our current resources, our upgrades, our training, our unique partnership with Rocklin Police Department, some of the incidents that we've dealt with earlier this year, and then some of the safety recommendations made by the committee, and then next steps. So from a historical standpoint, we've had a district team for a number of years, but under the leadership of Superintendent Stock, he recommended that we expand this. So about 6 years ago, we worked closely. We invited staff to participate, our community partners, and then specifically our parents. The purpose of this committee is to provide safe and secure environments of all district facilities. The committee meets 3 times a year. We had one meeting earlier in October, we have one in January, and then the final one in May. It's made up of 30 members. You can see here, district office, 6 participate. We have site admin, and that's 1 elementary, 1 middle, 1 high school. We have 6 members of RTPA, 2 of CSEA, 6 parents participate. Rocklin Police, there's 6. Not all 6 are able to attend the meetings all the times because some of the meetings are on Mondays, and some of our SROs have that day off, and they have asked if they needed to be there, but Chief Banks gave them the day off, so I don't require them. And then Rocklin Fire also participates. So as far as just from a historical perspective, and to let people know that we spend between $800 and $1.2 million a year on safety. This includes physical, emotional, and cyber security. If you recall, last board meeting, Chief Technology Officer Johnson was here and talked about how many attacks we have just from a cybersecurity standpoint. But in this area, this pays for 3 school resource officers, mental health, and if I can just step aside for a second, if you recall, Mr. Johnson brought CTE students last time in the area of computer science. Well, recent passing of an assembly bill requiring that we provide information on mental health to students was passed, and under the direction of Director Beth Davidson. She says, why don't we work with CTE? So I have an example of what Whitney Lum and her graphic arts teams did. An actual student created this. Whitney worked with the students to say, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. We worked with them, and Whitney does a great job. She actually runs it like a business. So we were provided an invoice. I took her bid to see if we want to do this, but Whitney High School Graphic Arts did this entire thing and created 500 of those, so I'm going to pass it up here for you to see. On that, it was really important that we get that out before the holidays. You know, that's always a challenging time when students have alone time, so we want to make sure they have the supports they need. Again, on this list, we have crossing guards, we have discipline techs, we have online security, and then we have our anonymous reporting. That's 24/7. That's available on our district website as well as each individual school site. Again, this is not an all-inclusive list. This is just an example. As far as safety upgrades, door locks, one of the things we talk about as a committee is the most important thing is to lock the door. And so Craig Rouse and his team work hard. It's ongoing. As you know, we have some aging facilities, but one of the most important safety measures is to make sure that door locks properly. Thanks to the trustees setting aside some funds, we were able to purchase 308 new two-way radios. We call them walkie-talkies. We set a ratio there. Elementaries get 18, middle 22, and high school 24. And this goes for all safety people on campus, along with the school administration. And then some of our high needs classrooms have these as well, so everyone's on the same station and they can get out immediately. As you know, we teach run, hide, fight as one of our active shooter drills. An important part of that is they have window coverings. Again, Craig Rouse and his team's hard at work doing this. You see here it's in process. Craig could probably tell you exactly how many windows we have in this district, but the tough job here is you can't do that while school's in session. So they work hard, and they had a lot of that work completed over the summer. Over break, they'll complete more, and the goal is to have that all completed by the end of the school year. Also, again, we've had school resource officers for a number of years. Thanks to Rocklin PD, we had a grant for a middle school one, and then again, appreciate the trustees voting in. So now we have 3, 1 at each high school, and then 1 that covers the 2 middle schools. Another part here is our safety assessments. You can see there's a highlight here. Through relationships that we've built, Homeland Security provides this. They started this last year, and Craig Rouse and his team walked, along with a member from the Homeland Security team, and walked a number of our sites. Unfortunately, word got out that Homeland Security provides this service for free. And then a double whammy we got is the gentleman that walked for us took a new job in Idaho. I've been working with him, he promised, and he has finished those reports, but he did pass on because we created a 4-year schedule. His partner was going to take that over. His partner recently, as of last week, accepted a job in Washington, D.C. So with that, knowing this is a priority of the board, I'm currently working with other companies to do this. My goal is to bring back a contract at the December 18th meeting to ensure that every site is walked for the vulnerability assessment. Along with other upgrades, we have alarm and phone systems that are replaced or upgraded. And then we had 175 cameras located on all of our campuses. Through the money supported by the trustees, we added an additional 64 over the summer. So now we have a total of 239. And then training, many of you know that we're required by California Ed Code to do trainings, but not only at school sites, but our district office, nutrition services, transportation, M&O, they all complete these drills as well. We did introduce for new employees coming in, we have a new induction, and through the partnership with Rocklin PD, we take our new teachers through that run, hide, fight. Again, when someone goes into education, they don't go in thinking that they would ever have to do this, so it's really a mindset. So we do it at the new teacher orientation. They also follow up, and each site does that training as well. And again, that's co-facilitated by members of the Rocklin PD. All other new employees, as you know, we hire instructional aides, we hire nutrition services, M&O. That happens throughout the year. Now we ask them to watch some of those videos online through Public Schoolworks. And then once again, every site is required to do a certain amount of drills. And the requirements are different for elementary, middle, and high. But those drills are anywhere from a lockdown drill all the way to an evacuation drill. So those are being completed as required. I'm going to go off script a little bit here when I talk about this, and the gentleman behind me is probably curious what I'm going to say, but I really just want to publicly thank him, him being Chief Banks, for his leadership. When I reached out and asked, hey, I'm doing a safety update, he says, I'll be there. And I said, wow, I know you have Sergeant Paxton, you have lieutenants, you have captains, and he says, no, I'll be there. And what I've learned by working with him over the last couple of years is actions speak louder than words, and I just publicly want to thank him for his leadership of Rocklin PD, and I know he was at a city council meeting last night. He's here this evening. He has a volunteer dinner tomorrow night, and he might see his family on Friday night. But again, he'll join me at the podium here in a second to talk, but I really do think we have a unique relationship with Rocklin PD. All captains have been great that we've had an opportunity to work with, but again, I appreciate Chief Banks for his actions. They, including himself, serve on the district safety committee. They're available upon request to go out to individual school site safety teams. They do co-facilitate run, hide, fight. Once again, also available, especially at the elementary level. That's kind of a hard thing to talk about. How do you teach a TK, a first grader, a third grader, how to do this? Because obviously the fight part of it might be out, but it comes. I appreciate the fact that they go out and they understand that it's different, like I said, from a 12th grader maybe fighting compared to a second grader. And they're very careful and empathetic how they present this information to our students. So I appreciate their leadership there. Another shout out for CTE, recently broadcasting at Whitney High School. Went down, they did a ride-along with our police officers and created a great video on the dangers of e-bikes. Sergeant Paxton had a cameo in that video, so I appreciate him doing that. And once again, where we really work closely with them is anytime we're dealing with threats. And that's the next topic I'll talk about. Earlier this year throughout the country, if you recall a couple years ago, the TikTok challenge was destroying the restroom. Unfortunately, this took place earlier this year in RUSD, had some interruptions. Working closely with them, what I appreciate is Chief Banks also, similar to Superintendent Stock, has that continuous improvement mindset. Unique situation, something we've never dealt with. We had 2 threats made in 30 seconds apart. So after that, we came together, and there are 6 members of our police department, led by Chief Banks, that sat in this room for 2 hours to debrief that. What happened? How did it happen? How did we handle it? How can we get better? And so some of the positives that came out of that, tremendous response time by our police department. They were on site, they're doing their job. And really want to give a shout out to our schools. They went through their practices, their procedures to provide that safe environment. areas that we can improve on is something like this was so unique. It's really difficult to get clear communication out. So how can we do better at that? Learned if we ever have to do a reunification, we do have that in place, but with modern technology, we can do a better job of that. Give a shout out to Danielle Lauer at Springview Middle School. She had a QR code. Our practices right now is that a person has to come out and fill a form, and then we have to verify that's the person through our student information system. Now with the QR code, they can scan that, they can put it in there, we can verify and really make that process go much faster if we ever need to. And then finally, just a shout out to our directors, Beth Davidson, Hannah Anderson. Wait, Hannah left? Oh, I didn't realize that. And then Hannah, Matt, and Beth all went out the day that we had the 2 emergencies, and they were just boots on the ground, and it just was very helpful. What we really need to do, though, is have a more defined role for someone from the district office going out. Really, you're going out as a support role because these principals, these students, these teachers, they practice these drills, every month. But going out just to have an extra adult, especially at the elementary level, because frequently they're the only ones there. So with that, just a shout out for them, the way they responded that day. And then some of our recent recommendations, joint communication between RTPA and the district office. The safest thing to do is have your door locked. And when we did this, and we sent it out last year and this year again as a reminder, we don't want you to stop teaching. We don't want you to stop going outside and enjoying the beautiful weather we have here on most days, maybe not today. But a majority of the time when you're in the classroom lecturing or doing activities, have that door locked. Yes, it is kind of a pain sometimes, but that's the safest thing we could do. So in collaboration with the union there, we sent that out. Also, staff identification cards have this because we have taught our staff that if you see an adult on campus and you don't see either some sticker showing that they've checked into the front office, we want you to question them because we don't want adults on our campus. But that takes me to my next bullet. Parents and volunteers on campus. We want to have that. And once again, we have some of our schools doing this. But in the discussion at the committee, they talked about, well, we also have to train our parents because if they're there on a volunteer basis, that's great. But we don't want them there wandering our campuses, waiting for their kid to get out of school. And, I know our elementaries do a tremendous job of teaching parents, how to do that. So shout out there. One of our parents that serves on the committee actually serves as a substitute teacher, and her recommendation was, I go to different schools and they all have a lockdown drill, but they all do it based on their specific site rules, and recommended, when I go in and check out the front office, I need something there. So we've done that as well. And then finally, just an onboarding process to have all new employees receive that basic orientation along with all the safety procedures we do. So finally, next steps, continue our close working relationship with Rocklin PD. I will be, and I'm currently doing this, research and select a new company to complete our site safety assessments. Again, the goal would be to bring a contract forward at the next board meeting. And then just the final thing, our next district safety board meeting is scheduled for January 27th. And before we take any questions, I'd like to welcome Chief Rustin Banks that wanted to say a couple words.
Good evening, Vice President Price, trustees, and Superintendent Stock. I appreciate you guys allowing me to stop in and say hello. I heard safety, and any opportunity I get to pop in, I usually jump on. But before we do that, I just honestly want to thank all of you, because between the Matt Redding baseball game, the Battle of the Shield, I think I saw all of you there. And I just wanted to tell you how much that means to me personally. John and Marilyn were actually there. They made the trip from Nevada, Matt's parents, and it just means a lot to them. It meant a lot to the police department, and so thank you guys for that tradition and for showing up and your support and your presence. And so as far as safety goes, I'm not so sure I can really add. That was a very detailed presentation by Associate Superintendent Flowers there, but I think I'll just communicate. This is something that I feel I'm very proud of the level of service that our police department provides to this community, but I might be most proud about how we provide that safety to our campuses and to our students and to our staff. The partnership I think that we have between the police department and between the district is something that there's still absolutely things that we're going to improve upon, but I think we do this really well. And the way that Sergeant Paxton and his school resource officers collaborate and work side by side with all of our staff and students is something that I think that between the committees, between the fentanyl awareness, between all of the outreach and the time that we spend on campus, I'm really confident that we're doing the things that we need to be doing. And so I just wanted to say thank you guys. Thank you guys for your support. I thank you for having me here tonight, and I look forward to building upon with the leadership in the school district and all of you what I think is a really great program right now. And if you have any questions, by all means.
Thank you. We appreciate you as well and all that you do for us and the relationship that we have. It really does mean so much. I shared a little bit after the safety committee meeting, you know, the officers that are looking for these kids that are riding their e-bikes, but they're not trying to scare them. They actually want to have a good interaction with them. They've got their donut cards, you know, hey, good job. We want to hand more of those out than warnings to anybody else. I think that really matters. And, you know, every LCAP meeting that I've been at with Superintendent Flowers as well as Hannah, you know, the kids feel safe on our campuses. And that is largely because we have officers there and they see that. And so I really appreciate that as well. The only thing I was going to add, let's see, actually, I asked so many questions when I was in the safety committee meeting. So does anybody else have any additional questions?
I also just want to say thank you. Just so appreciative of all of the work that you do in collaboration with us and your responsiveness, you know, when there are concerns. It's just helpful to be able to, you know, reassure community members when things come up. You know, there's a plan, there's supports, everyone's, you know, going to be okay. So thank you so much. I wanted to just ask a question. We had both taken a training last summer for the behavior threat assessment and management, and I wanted to just know if some of those procedures and strategies are being utilized with our site teams.
Most definitely. I, again, appreciate Director Beth Davidson. She oversees the counselors. She's working with them. Every one of them have been trained. We had 2 that could not make it, but through the Julie Winkle over in Roseville, she offered that again. I believe the 2 that weren't able to make in the summer did make it there, and that is in place. That is in process. They are using that at all of our secondary sites.
Awesome. Thank you.
I did have one more question. On the school site vulnerability assessments, I know that's a big priority of the board. Would you, when you're gathering information in the next couple of weeks, would you ask, is it reasonable to expect that we could maybe get those done in 2025?
Yes, I've had a phone conversation with one company and explained, you know, what our needs are. He said yes.
Great.
Don't ask me by the end of this year, but by the end of the school year, I could definitely get that done.
Yeah.
I have another follow-up meeting with a different company tomorrow morning.
Great.
But I'd be happy to report that out on the 18th.
Perfect. Thank you.
It just, again, thank you. I think from having the SROs, having presence, seeing yourself, your team at the different events, at the schools, again, just another reason why Rocklin is a great place to raise kids, and you guys do a great job working together, so thank you for that.
If I could add, Vice President Price, I just also appreciate Chief Banks is really looking out for the youth of our community, and through his own efforts of leading through different ways, whether it be youth sports or youth ways to interact with our youth, and really is his personal leadership to look after the youth of our community and provide different alternative actions and things is really makes a difference. And also just his example of being able, we get reports and threats and things we have to investigate 24/7, and he and his team work with our folks to, whether it's 11:30 at night, 2 in the morning, to be able to go out, check on, make sure people are safe, and then that allows us to assure our community that we have looked into it, and in most cases that things are okay. But we appreciate that deep partnership, and it does, like I said, go 365, 24/7, and it really is the expectation he sets, and that goes all the way down, and we're grateful for it, because many of the officers actually are our parents as well.
Thank you. both of you.
Real quick, Marty, I got one question. The poster, I know you got a bid. I'm assuming time and materials, you're not gonna hustle poor Miss Lam, right? We're gonna cover that?
We paid full price on that, yes, indeed.
Thank you.
You said we printed 500. Where are those going?
125 at each high school, I believe 75 at the middle schools, 50 at Victory High School. And they're up, and we provided extra ones because we really want them not only in every classroom, but we want them in the restrooms. We want them in the gym, and sometimes those get torn down. But yeah, we have plenty available, and Ms. Lum has that copy ready to go if we need more.
Great, thank you. Okay, we will now open agenda item 10.1, public comment on non-agenda items. A few important reminders. This agenda item is to give anyone in attendance an opportunity to address the board in an open meeting concerning any non-agenda items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. The board will not take action on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, but may refer the matter to a staff member for follow-up. A complaint about a specific employee of the district shall be made to that employee's immediate supervisor or the principal as required by Administrative Regulation 1312.1. To protect student privacy, please refrain from using the student names or identifying characteristics. The board respects each individual's rights to express varied ideas and opinions and expects speakers to refrain from personal attacks based on protected categories under state and federal law, including race, religion, sexual orientation, disability, etc. Please be mindful that students may be watching. Please fill out a green public comment card. I will call your name to the podium and state also who is on deck. When you approach the podium, please state your name, the city you live in, and the school your children attend. You will have 2 minutes to address the board. All comments must be respectful. Please no profanity. Thank you. First, we welcome William McEnroe, and second on deck will be Kevin Cooper.
My name is William McEnroe, and I reside in Rocklin with my daughter and my 2 granddaughters who both attend Rocklin schools. I have a few inquiries regarding the 2024 to 2025 year budget for the Rocklin Unified School District. The classified salaries increased from 2023 to 2024 budget by $1,833,677, which is a 7% increase. School employees' overall salaries increased by $1,551,415, or 2%, where the books and supplies for the school district decreased by $3,590,280, or 40%. From the list of the schools where the attendance is 11,643, books and supplies decreased from the previous year $251,730, or 32%. The salaries for the superintendent and the 4 assistants from the last published 21 to 22 year increased $77,782.49. My queries are, why did the reduction of the books and the supplies occur? And why did the increase of the salaries increase almost at the same level? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I think I'm supposed to say my name, so it's Kevin Cooper. Most of you guys know me. Taught some of your kids how to do stuff, although anyway. So I actually have some prepared remarks, and God put it on my heart to swing by and say hi. I wanted to reach out and wish you all a great Thanksgiving and a great Christmas and holiday season. Hope you guys are gonna have a good one. Now that the election cycle is over, it's clear that many interests, including parents and teachers and respected members of the LGBTQ community and members of local churches, have come out and voiced their emotions and thoughts about issues during this last election cycle. And we voted. We heard all the arguments. There's no way that anyone couldn't have heard the arguments, and we voted. And as best I can tell, and I do have some math behind me, it appears that the vote totals in RUSD Districts 1 and 2, that the issues that we've been thinking about parents' roles, have been pretty much decided by a majority of voters. and the need for the district to keep parents informed about what's going on and allow parents to be parents in their role, and have teachers be teachers in their role, sort of been decided. During this time, people in this room, Travis Monette, other people have called me a Christian nationalist, a Nazi, a jerk, and a bully, and words I shouldn't use in front of ladies. To him and everyone else, I say, I hope you felt good about it, because now the real work of governance has to start. And the adults in the room have to start acting like adults and quit running to the media and having lawsuits and picking on people. It's not productive. It's important for teachers to teach and parents to have their role and for it to be supported. And we heard a lot of those words, not just at me, but at other people. And
Thank you, Kevin. Your time is up. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. Trustees, do you have any items to be placed on the pending agenda? Do you want to go with yours first?
Yes. So want to make a motion to add the labor management representative role as a board appointment rotation to the organizational meeting agenda for December 18th.
Can we broaden that to where we also include maybe Superintendent Stock, all of the list of the committees that the district has, just to open up and see if there's any that trustees, I know trustees can attend whatever they want, but if there's any that we want to have assignments, for example, the additional one that was mentioned today, the Foster and Homeless Youth Advisory Committee, somebody may want to be on that as well, as well as the Safety Committee. So could we make the pending agenda item, general enough where it could include any district committee and assignment, so we all have the information for that?
It could, in order for the board to be able to take action on it, we would have to place it on the agenda, and the board could then either choose to take action, or it could choose to take no action on that.
Sure.
So if I'm hearing the request, it's to add the Labor Management Committee, it's to add our Foster Homeless Youth Committee, it's also to add the Safety Committee.
Sure.
And those three, now we also have other committees, LCAP, our District English Learner Advisory. We could add all those, or we could just stick with those three, just looking for direction.
I think we should add all of them, at least so that the board can look at them and decide. Even if we have it on the agenda item, we don't have to necessarily assign somebody if we don't want to amongst the five of us.
Correct, and then in some of these, like our 2x2, we have two.
They're already there.
And in others, we just have a liaison like Tarif. So and so that way we'll work to create the item that it could be either as a liaison, or like in some cases the 2x2, the student trustees, you actually are the committee versus just as a liaison to the board.
So if that's going to be a pending action item, can you circulate to us the information beforehand?
I will. I'll provide a memo to the board that lists all of the different opportunities, and then those that have been on previously, we'll provide you the historic list of who's done what in the past.
Great.
So that you can see that, and we'll get that out to you by the end of the week.
Okay, that meet your needs as well. Great. Is there a motion to place all of that on the agenda December 18th?
So moved.
First
I'll
by
second.
Trustee Sutherland, second by Trustee Hupp. Let's see, do I have to do anything else with that?
No, our bylaws
That's
just
it.
say it takes two. So
Okay,
we have
good.
two.
Well, the board meeting is now adjourned.